Hello, DG Lovelies. This is Neisha M., your geek mom, and welcome to another episode of Diversely Geek Discusses, a space between planes where fans explore the meaning of being geek, learn what it means to identify and embrace your inner geek, and how connecting with geeks across the globe can help us on our journeys to transforming our fandom passions into positive action.
And hello, DG Lovelies. This is Neisha M., your geek mom, aka Neisha T. Molchan, coming to you with Mollee B. Marcus, the lovely, amazing, and fantabulous. And this week, we are resuming our wonderful DG's Geek Week in Review, where we just really cover the gamut of what's been going on in terms of science, technology, all the STEAM, trends, and pop culture, and bring to you some of the things that we really kind of focused on this week and that really caught our eye. So, Mollee, and as always, before we start this conversation with you guys, we have these conversations, and like I can tell you, they become very tangential, right, Mollee?
Absolutely they do.
Oh my God, there's just so much to really explore that's going on in the world. I don't know that there's any way to ever tap into all of the amazing resources that we have out there.
Right. Can you imagine if we had to do this the old-fashioned way without Google?
Oh my God, what would we do? I remember back in the day when you and I were going to school, that is a whole world we had to figure out how to do it. It was so much harder to get on and
so
to
much
find
harder
something through the internet. Jeez, and research was crazy back in the day. Okay, so we're telling people about back in the good old days. Prairies and tumbleweeds, yay. Okay.
Yay.
So I thought that, we had a pretty amazing week in terms of what was going on in the world of cinema film, but there were a couple really sad occurrences as well. And I know that it's kind of interesting because you and I are both in our 50s, so I think that these two losses really span the gamut of age and gender, and not just gender but generation. And so we had the loss of Peter Mayhew, who was the original, the one and the only Chewbacca, and really led the way for Chewbacca to become the character that we know Chewbacca to be. We also had Chris Riccardi as well. Peter Mayhew had been sick and ill for quite a while and really was holding on, and was just at Star Wars Celebration in Chicago, but he was 74 years old, about to be 75. But Mr. Riccardi was 54-year-old. Wow. An extremely relevant animator in this world. So do you want to talk about Chris a little bit?
Sure. So Chris was pretty amazing. His work spanned so many different genres, everything from, Ren and Stimpy and the Powerpuff Girls to Samurai Jack, and doing layout for The Simpsons, and eventually doing things like visual development for like Hotel Transylvania and the Lego Movie and Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Just brilliant man who is so humble. Especially even in his beginnings, he was so humble. And I was, and still am, a huge fan, of course, of Ren and Stimpy and Powerpuff Girls and Samurai Jack, because, well, I love cartoons. I'm not going to lie. I love my cartoons.
Why wouldn't we?
So
we exemplify is that there is nothing wrong with a love of cartoons.
Oh, no, absolutely not. And this one, actually, both these deaths really hit me really hard. One, of course, Chris being only 54 and I'm 51, of course, and Chewbacca, that's like a major icon for both of us. It's just sad. And it's hard watching these artists pass on, especially as we increase in age. And of course, I realize it's like the natural, circle of life type stuff going on. But at the same time, Chris's death really made me very sad, because I'm a budding illustrator myself, and just, he was a huge influence among some of the other animators and illustrators that are out there today. And it was just really sad, because it was just so all of a sudden and just so like out of the blue And so it just kind of caught me by surprise when I saw the news. So that's just sad.
Well, it's really important for us to know that health is a very important part of our existence, and we really need to pay attention to it. So as a science clinical nerd here, I am going to put out that one statement to everyone. Please pay attention to your health. Whatever you see going on around you, whatever you feel that's different, make sure you go to your checkups. Make sure you check in with your family practice provider. Make sure you let someone know, and keep up with what's important to check out at your age. For our age, we both know that there are things we have to look at. So whether you look at a holistic or an allopathic way of managing your health, still be very diligent, pay attention. So I know you and I are going to be doing a spotlight on Chris Riccardi, because crazy enough, even though we've talked about the shows he's worked on, we actually never talked about him until now,
right?
Which is sad, But we realized that there was a beautiful trend in his subtle creations. So we really want to talk about that. So that'll be a show coming up probably in the next week. Yay!
Yeah, yay!
But then we're going to talk about. Oh my goodness! What do we say about Chewbacca? I mean,
he's a Wookiee. No.
I know.
There's a song. There are some. Well,
right?
there are songs, like special songs that have been written about Chewbacca. I forget the name of the group that did like Chewbacca, he's a Wookiee, and they have this whole song just about Chewbacca. I'll have to find it. It's funny.
We need to hear that. We do need to hear that.
Yeah.
I think that Chewbacca allows us to. Okay, so from what I've read in history, historically speaking, Peter spoke with Lucas about the character, and I think he's the one who let out with, and I may be wrong, that he wanted this to be technically not voiced character, but a character who had an alien texture to the vocalizations and to who that character was. And so that's how we got this brilliant sound that the whole world knows, that I can't make, by the way. I cannot do it, but
me either. To save my life, I can't make a Wookiee noise.
Oh my goodness.
I have some friends who can, though. They're pretty good at it. But I love Chewie. I fell in love with Chewie, what we considered to be the first film, which is now, of course, the fourth film. But I fell in love with Chewie the minute he started playing chess with C-3PO. And and of course Han Solo saying, you don't want to mess, don't get the Wookiee upset. And I think that line to me came really into perspective when the Han Solo movie came out recently, that shows how the two of them get together, which I thought was so touching in a way. It really super was, and it would just shed so much light on their early relationship and how Han just seemed to be able to communicate with Wookiee so beautifully and so seamlessly, and other people are like, what is this big hairy thing? Of course Leia going, what is that, a walking carpet? And it's funny. I mean, there was a lot of humor that Chewbacca led into the movies. He's kind of almost like comic relief in a lot of ways.
And having met Peter, he's a very interesting character. So, as we know, he could be grouchy.
Yeah.
But he iconized this alien life form who, we can go and embrace if we go to over to Star Wars Launch Bay, and we want to. And the line to get a hug from Chewbacca is always one of the longest lines when you go to Launch Bay. And that is such a very personalized character that everyone just connects to. And I think it's a feeling of the warmth. So regardless, it's what Peter put into the character by his body motions and movements, and to give the voice through a different form of vocalization to a character who actually is extremely important to the entirety of the universe. So, and to his people. I mean, the Wookiees, without them. Can you remember? I mean, looking back at the Clone Wars, you know?
Yeah.
And people wanted to know more about them. So I think that, you know, that's the brilliance of getting someone who lives their character and like really makes us feel something. So I'm glad that I actually got the opportunity to meet him the times that I did.
Yeah, you're so lucky.
Yeah, no, it's just, you know, it was my year going around the circuit, so I was able to really get that opportunity to, you know, to see him more than I probably would have ever had in my past life. I'm very happy that I did my con year in review, which I talked about with you as something that's coming up. Where I'm going to really go over my year and my year's experiences and what it was like to be able to live that world for a year and embrace it and embrace who I was and to get opportunities like this. So. Okay, so I know. I mean, yesterday was Star Wars Day. So, do you remember what happened in California yesterday?
No, I was under a rock yesterday.
So officially yesterday, California recognized May 4th as May the 4th Be With You Day. So
awesome! That's awesome.
It's an
I love California.
Official holiday now. Well, not, I mean,
that's
holiday.
Amazing.
Yeah. So California makes its official, votes to declare May 4th Star Wars Day. So
woo.
Yeah, I know. I don't understand why we wouldn't, though. There's nothing wrong with it.
I don't know. I mean, we have like National Pencil Day. We can certainly have like Star Wars Day.
So National Star Wars Day should be International Star Wars Day because it's a really, really fun, eclectic, complex, convoluted universe that connects the entire world, for God's sakes. I mean, we have fans all over the planet all coming together because they love so much this universe. So I think I love the idea. I think that, like, hello, California trend setting. Let's get this through as a national day. Star Wars Day. Now, today is May 5th. It is Cinco de Mayo. You know, which is very iconic.
A lot of people, well, a lot of people don't realize it's kind of like a military memorial day.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't.
Well, you want to tell me about that? And then because today is like a couple trending things, culturally.
It is, yeah.
Because we have it as Cinco de Mayo. We have Revenge of the 5th.
Yes, Revenge of the 5th. That's right. Revenge of the 5th. Yeah, gotta love your Sith Lords, you know.
Oh God.
So, pretty much, there's a lot of articles about how we don't know what Cinco de Mayo is. It's, you know, it's more than just going out and having drinks and beer, you know, but for the most part, you know, well, let me just see if I can find a better explanation of what this is.
Oh, that's okay. Okay. Well, Cinco.
I mean, it's to observe the commemorate of the Mexican army victory over the French Empire at the Battle of Puebla in 1862. So yeah, it's kind of like our, you know, Memorial Day here, I suppose. It's similar.
It is. It's is a celebration of the Mexican Army's victory over the French Empire, just like you said. And why do we celebrate it? Because it was a really important time in terms of geographically, socioculturally for that country, for the people of that country, but also the people of our Southwest. Along the borders, because it had a lot it did play a very strong relevance in terms of how we laid our borders later on, or of the clashes that we had with Mexico. I have no problem about celebrating a day that helped them to be able to.
Oh yeah, no, I have no problem celebrating either.
I think it's a great thing. And it is a party day. It's not just about partying and having drinks.
Yeah.
Although for that, it's okay. Okay, so we covered today. Well, Revenge of the 5th basically came because of, you know, the May 4th is May the 4th be with you. So, you know, the Sith are like, yo, man, we can't just give up this weekend or this day to the Jedi. So the Sith have to have their day. So today is Sith.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, equal time, even though, equal time hasn't been a thing for a while, but, equal time. And I mean, gosh, I don't know if if I'm the norm, but I love both. You got to have balance, right? That's kind of what the Force is all about, right? So you got to have your Sith guys and you got to have your Jedis. And I love both of those books. The How to Be a Jedi, How to Be a Sith books.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I have those books. I actually was yesterday. I was doing I'll go back to my clinical stuff. I was actually doing some clinical research because for the stuff I'm writing in. I was looking back at the now non-canon world of Star Wars, like what was written prior to the Disney and acquiring and then creating what's considered to be canon now. So I was looking back at the history, and which is like hundreds of thousands of years old. It was fascinating. Oh my God! I mean, the dissection of the Force didn't need to happen. It happened because of power play, and every time they were able to fight and come back together and create peace treaties, there was always one faction that said, no. Let's go do this, and let's let's get some power going for the Sith, because if we do that, then we can run the entire galaxy. And I'm like, so technically, today is a reflection of that. The fact that every time there's a peace treaty, that and you get a demilitarized Jedi Force, all of a sudden the Sith are like, nope. You demilitarize, I am now ready to take back over again. And that's how I see it.
Right.
Wrong.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I really think that's what's going to be coming up in the new Star Wars. I still think that you and I thought about, whether it's Rey or someone else, bringing balance in and just having a force, not two forces.
Yeah, which is the origination. That's actually what the origination story is. I mean, it's supposed to be a single unit, but that's a long story, and we'll probably dive into that a little bit later, because I actually want to I wanted to we want to in the future go through each of the story soliloquies and like really try and reflect back on it. But I have to tell you, because right now there's a lot of new trending information out there, because we did get through Star Wars Celebration, so it's a great time to get out and learn a lot more about the history. And every time they release new books, which I'm about to tell you, to discuss in a second, we're now adding in to the subtle foundation of the pieces of that. Like the puzzle is starting to come together again. So yesterday on May the 4th Be With You Day, Lucasfilm and Disney released the information about the new books that are coming out. And the new books literally are about the Resistance, but also lead into the storyline that will explain the rise of Skywalker. Yup.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, they're smart. They know what they're doing. They know that we need answers, so that we're going to find it by finding the books. So that's what came out yesterday. That was the big news drop. So it was really interesting in terms of the Star Wars Galactic Empire. That and I'm glad that they're very resoundly making sure that we focus on literature as an implemental part of this universe.
Yeah, I love that.
And the animation, right? So that's pretty cool. But you should go check it out, because I was just looking. It's on the Disney website, etc. And you're gonna look at all the books that they're releasing, and then and then right after they updated on Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, which everyone knows is the new Star Wars themed parks coming to Disney World and Disney Anaheim. They also talk about the books that are coming to those, to explain those and how they're. Yep. Sorry, I'm going crazy about literature. This is me.
No, it's great. I mean, there's a whole bunch of books. They always have the trendy. All the books you should be reading in 2019. Yada. That's good. It's important.
Well, I mean, we all have this we all have this habit of being very much connected to the visual world. So what else do you have on your plate? Because you sent me a lot of information too, so I want to
Oh,
know.
sure. So, we can dive into some of the trendy art stuff. So I've been seeing a lot of things where Nike has been incorporating art, whether it's Andy Warhol sneakers that are themed, you can get with Andy Warhol's art, or the Avengers Endgame. They even have gym shoes that have like a little red cape, like Thor's red cape. It's amazing. So like, I don't know if they're just concept shoes or not, but all of these fandoms are now eking into different kinds of apparel. I mean, you always can find the t-shirts, but I thought the sneakers was an interesting touch. So
I
of
love
course
it.
they're not cheap.
Well, they're not. I bought my Star Wars sneakers last year at New York Comic Con, and they're
Oh,
fabulous,
nice.
comfortable. But the Pogos, I always forget the name of them, but the ones that are naturally made, like natural, but they're very comfortable. So we saved to be able to get. Well, where do you think?
Yeah, they have like. Go ahead.
Where do you think that that's going to take us in terms of like something where we're getting this trending? I mean, the trending in terms of like fashion.
Yeah, well, I'm taking a look here. Adidas, especially with its AM4, has like a Thanos and a Captain Marvel shoe. I look at these things like people are representing, right? So like, who do you love? Oh, I love Captain Marvel and I have her on my feet, and I think it's a way for people to display their fandoms. You always see it in a hat, baseball hat, or another kind of beanie, or you always see it in a t-shirt. But I think the sneakers is kind of a new medium in which they're really making a splash. In fact, they had those, I think they were OLED shoes for a while, where you could have digitally changed the look of your shoes with an app. And that was pretty cool. I don't know if you've heard about that, but that just came out like
I
last
love
year.
that concept. Is that for real? Is that already a
Yeah,
thing?
it's for real. Yeah, it is for real.
Okay, so let's just keep merging our love for makers and STEAM and pop culture, social culture, fashion, design. I mean, this is the world that you and I were hoping to get to, right, Mollee?
Oh, yeah, totally. I can go on and on with all the stuff that's coming out of Blade Runner like I did with Lewis, but yes.
No, Totally do it, because that's the whole point, I think, to why we want to do the Geek Week in Review. We want people to know that, there's so much going out there that's going on. There are so many makers and designers and creators, which are makers, just so everyone understands. A maker is a person who is investing the creative genius in any form of makership, which is across the spectrum, whether it's woodworking, whether it's tiles, whether it's building, whatever it is. It's about the creative genius and networking as a community to bring us together. And that's why I highly support us doing this show, because the show is a way for us to support makership. You know what I'm saying? And then like, I want to really be able to express my very happy nerd and joy passion about all this stuff.
Yeah. And then when I was doing a little bit of research for today, I came across something that I thought was really wonderful. It goes far beyond American Airlines just having a non-binary choice on its ticketing. We now have Virtue creating Q, in quotes, the first genderless voice for smart technology. And so this is super cool, because it is similar to your Siri and your Alexa, but the concept was moving toward that equality on a non-gender binary level. It's raising awareness and confronting social bias. Apple, Amazon, Google are releasing assistants that are coded to the female representation, right? And that doesn't represent everybody. So Q is still in its beginning stages of development. And although the genderless voice fulfills the qualities of existing virtual assistants, in the sense that it's warm and helpful as those machines can be, it's not quite integrated with IA. So to develop a voice that was neither male or female. It layered 5 voices of individuals who identify as neither male or female. So I thought that one was really cool.
Ridiculous. I think that is ridiculous. And what it made me think of when I was reading it was like, my God, this is music. This is music composition, because it's sound. It's about taking sound and layering in a way that creates new sound.
Yeah, because we're so used to identifying that's a male voice, that's a female voice.
Yeah, exactly.
And now it's just a voice. I mean, how cool is that?
I know. You and I kind of joked about Q. Why do you think they chose Q? Do you think it's a Star Trek reference?
Right. Exactly.
I was like, next gen, why do you think it is? I think it is because Q is so damn quirky and mischievous and sly and bad.
Yes. Yes.
But he also had a pretty flat voice until later on, and then he was like, cool. It's just saying. Every time I hear the name Q, that's what I'm going to think of, just saying.
Oh, me too. Me too. Always. Always. I don't think that letter will ever be the same. So.
Did you know along the same lines, because I'm going to go back real quick to your because that's about equal representation. It's absolutely beautiful. That back to your sneakers. Did you know that Nike introduced an empowering multicolored Be True collection last year? I don't think a lot of people realize that, because I really like those shoes. So maybe we have to do something about shoes and pop culture and fashion, because we just identified a bunch of different ones. I didn't even realize it. Shoes are a huge passion out there. There's a lot of youngins, and I mean, maybe I'm being age biased. Sorry about that. But a lot of people wait for those shoes to drop, because that's a huge collector's item for them.
Oh, yes.
They even had an episode on One Day at a Time where the grandmom has to help out Alex and wait online for him, because he's on what do you call it? Not banishment. Oh my God. He's in lockdown in the house. And so she goes and she's like, oh my God, these shoes are $300. What the heck is this? It's just crazy.
I know. Some of these shoes are insane.
But then it was already up to $600 by the time they walked out of the store. And I was like, oh my God.
Oh my gosh. Well, Converse, along those lines, Converse just released a bunch of either high top or low top ones for Pride for the 50th celebration. So you can get trans flag, you can get the regular Pride flag. They have a whole bunch of them.
Oh, I really want that. Can you send me that one? And maybe we can post that one out on our page too, because I think a lot of people might be really interested in that. And then they also did an informative sneaker culture book, which I thought was really interesting. So yeah, I think we should probably have this discussion, Mollee.
I think so.
There's an entire.
I think that'd be a fun one.
Yeah, I think it will actually be a huge fun, and then something new for us to start looking at for ourselves, because we really do. I think we do have the responsibility to step outside of our boxes as well, which is also
for sure
why I think this show is important, because we have to do that too. Okay. I was gonna go back real quick to something when we were talking, because you know how I was talking about makers. And so this is the second annual upcoming NomCom. So NomCom is a maker festival, but it's not just so there are maker festivals throughout the year in probably every state in all the major countries of the world, and I really, really, really recommend that people take the time to go to maker festivals, because it's pop culture, but really it's more about, like what I said, building those very strong maker networks and communities of creators and designers. So I'm a fan of Adam Savage. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I love him.
So he's such an extremely humble, down to earth, very open, very transitional and transformative type of being. And so he supports NomCom. It's the Nation of Makers Collaborative Community-wide Maker Convening Conference. It's a big old title for it. So it's a Nation of Makers, and it's going to be in Chattanooga, Tennessee in 2019. And basically it's a conference, but you're learning. So there's sessions for you to learn, to network. even for you to speak about what you do and then have others, interact with you about that. There are robust collaborations to be able to promote the growth of inclusion. So one of the main reasons that NomCom exists is to spark and increase connections across sectors, generate robust collaborations, and promote the growth of an inclusive nation of makers. So I actually applied to go this year because I think that we fit the bill. I think that we what we're doing, that's a community I think that I would love to be a part of, or really to feel a sense of ownership. So, I have the organization. I've had it for a long time. You and I do these things. But we're from a generations where sometimes as a person, a female body, where we don't always feel ownership. We don't always engage and include in our own inclusion in things because we're used to taking a step to the side. Because it's a generational gap. It's what it is. So I know that this is something that might, help us to be able to challenge those trends. So,
yes.
Yeah, I think, I'm really excited about it. It's going to be in June. So I'm hoping that I do get to go to it this year. And Adam Savage is there because he's one of the main, supporters of the organization. So
yeah, he's so inspirational. He's amazing.
Oh my God, that man. It's pretty awesome. And then the key speakers that they're having is just across the spectrum. I was like, wow, there's just so much for me to learn. Just so much to learn out there, Mollee. So much for us to know about. Okay, so I think we're going to be wrapping up pretty soon. We have a couple more things we want to talk about because, we talked about science technology, which seems to have made its way into everything we talked about today. I'm just saying.
Right. Yes.
I was really, really, really curious as we move ahead. You gave me some information about interactive mirrors.
Yes. Let's see.
Interactive posters and mirrors, right?
Yes. So, so this is a really cool trend, and I noticed even through my Regal app, you now can go up to some of these digital movie posters and see secret content. So you can actually get more information about your movie and other things of that nature, which is pretty darn cool. I know Disney is getting into it too for that new trailer that they have for One's Emotions. I guess at South by Southwest. I guess it said that Disney revealed a Dumbo experience.
Yes.
That introduced an entirely new way for people to interact with the movie trailers. And, so the idea of the static movie poster is okay, but it's you can do so much more with these digital posters. And I think it's a really neat innovation because it's capable of recognizing people's simple emotions, whether happy, sad, angry, or surprised, that plays back content to them based on that.
Literally, that's a dream for me as a neuroscience nerd because basically it's tapping into what I actually use as the main foundation and infrastructure for the Diversely Geek methodology. It's neuro-linguistic patterning. So big old words and language, but you and I understand that basically it's about triggering triggering the five senses and using them to be able to modify behavior and in a positive, of course, a positive.
Yeah, they're saying that this kind of personalized experience is allowing people to connect deeper with the heart of a film. So that's pretty neat. Right? I think that's pretty cool.
And that's my whole belief system, man. The whole belief system is that when we engage in this way with something, a fandom passion, that it initiates the chemical and the neurochemical, and then on top of that, the physical, the physiologic systems that allow us to be able to access the parts of the amygdala that we never get to, parts of the brain that we never get to tap into. If we are lucky we don't even tap into sometimes 60% of the functionality of the frontal lobe, which is where we experience and we visualize and we create memory from. And then the amygdala is the deep-seated part of the brain that we're talking about. So everything from those shoes with the colors and having a sensory experience to, to these using the mirrors in this way to have this interactive fan poster. It's ridiculous. It's all basically delving into the same part of the brain and tapping into it and saying, it's so interesting though, because if you think about it, there's an entire, all space-time travel, everything that we ever study, or every movie that's out there about, robots, etc., are tapping into this type of
Yes, they are. And it's just beginning, and a lot of people joke and go, ooh, Skynet. Look, there's always going to be good and bad in this world, right? And we always hope that it's used for the use of good, right? And we can't be like, ooh, Skynet about everything. I think it's so fundamental for these innovations to go forth and see where it goes. And sure, people are scared about AI. Sure, people are scared about the autonomy of robots, but at the end of the day, we are making these robots, and they're not near this capacity yet. And I think there's enough lessons out there from the literary world where we go, maybe we shouldn't go certain down directions, but for the most part, I think we're going to be okay.
Let me just say, it depends a lot on how much of the nation of this I was going to say the nation, the geek nation, is willing to take ownership of its own thoughts and ethical processing. Because as long as we know that we're doing it because there's a positive reason to it, but that we don't do these things and design in a way that would be harmful. And I mean, we can't control everybody, right? I mean, or can we? As Lewis would say, or can we? But
right,
because you would throw that in there. But I mean, I think that's part of the human exchange experiment. I mean, can we police ourselves? Do you think we can?
I don't know. I don't think we can control anybody or the motives that they have. I just don't know.
I think somebody's agreeing with you because somebody's working with you.
Oh gosh, yes. My little one wants to chime in. That's enough now.
And you agree? Okay, cool. I got it. So, we were supposed to talk about the dog thing, the thing you.
Oh yes. So speaking of dogs, that would be Chewie chiming in on these cute beds. These cute beds. They're designed. They're designed for little dogs. This artist, her name I believe is Kate. I'm going to probably mispronounce her name, but Kate Agafonova. She uses foam rubber and textiles and makes these miniature iron thrones for your dog to sit on or your cat to sit on. And they're super, super cute. Yeah, they absolutely are.
Oh my God. I need a picture of this. I'm looking right now. As soon as you said it, I was like, wait, where is it? Oh my God, I'm looking at them.
Isn't that too cute?
Incredible.
Super cute. Yeah, super cute. They're expensive.
They think that $200-something.
Yeah,
I can understand that though. Oh, I was recently following a maker, a young lady over in Romania, and I really do have to post it. And she does custom toys, and I call them toys, but really what they are is stuffed animals. However, Mollee, for instance, she did a toothless. That's how I found her. Her tooth was impeccable. But then she went on to do the dragons from Game of Thrones. Then and they're impeccable. So they're all custom made. So you can customize that.
Oh my gosh.
The stuff.
I'm a total stuffy hoarder. I love my stuffies so much. So you'll have to send me a link.
I still have to send you this woman's link on because I reached out to her because I'm like, I understand the cost of her work because it's incredible.
Oh, yeah.
She hand creates everything. She weaves. It's woven.
Oh,
It's not like take
wow.
material, sew it together, and stuff it. No, 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 no. She weaves, and the intricate
Wow.
detail of the weaving is incredible. Sorry, I just have to say that because you just reminded me of it.
Sure.
Oh, I
But
love it.
yeah. But I think, as far as today goes, perhaps we should wrap up, only because there's so much more out there. Otherwise, we'll be just talking for hours and we won't have anything to talk about next week.
Nope, and that's perfect. And no, like I said, that's our wrap time. But I wanted to, let the fans know that if they find anything that they want us to talk about trend-wise in STEAM, in clinical research, in terms of pop culture, social culture, just let us know, because while we're out there and we're checking out the internet, it's sometimes really hard to tap into all of it, but we really want to always be able to focus on what's going on in terms of what's culturally going on right now. For instance, Ramadan, as a matter of fact, it's very important to note that Ramadan starts this week.
Yes,
today, as
sure
a matter
does.
of fact. So, best wishes to everyone who embark on that journey, because it's a very great sacrifice. And to everyone, celebrating Cinco de Mayo. And as we move on, we want people to feel comfortable to be able to send us that information so we can highlight and spotlight it on our Geek Week in Review. So I am excited because we really covered a whole bunch of stuff today. We didn't even talk about it.
Yeah.
We said we were going to do that. All I want to say is that we're going to need to have more conversation about what is this universal, how does everybody feel about Endgame? Because now we're a week in and there's a lot of people who love it, but there are people who don't. There are really big questions, and some of those questions I validate because they're very good questions. There's a lot of moral and ethical principle questioning going on, and I'm like, cool. If that's that's what it's supposed to do. Things like this, you have to enjoy them, but then let them question, right? Let them raise questions for us to be able to ask and then move forward from there. So, all right, my friend, we had so much more to cover, but thankfully we got through at least 10 things today. Next week, we're going to talk about wizard-themed brunches, which I know everybody in the wizarding world wants to know about. And then, oh my God, I am so excited about that. And hopefully we can find a way for us to get to one. And it happens here in Florida. So, hey, the Wizards brunch and dinner. Woo-hoo. So, all right, my friends. So thank you to our wonderful Mollee B. Marcus, who will be one of my routine co-hosts here on our Geek Week in Review as we bring all this wonderful stuff, information to you that's really piqued our interest, talk about shows, TV, etc., and art and culture. And definitely let us know how you like the show. And if you want to participate by sending us information. Much love to our DG lovelies out there, and have an amazing week.